Oh, hi all. Welcome back to the John Deere B tractor restoration. And in the last video I talked about getting the cylinder head put back on the tractor. Well, if I lift these blankets up you can see that no cylinder head has been installed. And so I decided that I would get on and clean more tractor parts up and get an undercoat paint put on them. So here we have some bits here done. The governor arm and spring, dynamo bracket and pulleys and bits and bobs, rocker cover and the oil slinger that goes on the side of the primary gear cover where the clutch unit goes through. There's a fan shaft bracket there, and on the bench here we have governor components, governor shaft, governor weights on the bevel gear. The new bevel gear I had to get because, if you recall, I broke the last bevel gear while I was trying to get it off this shaft. A new fan shaft, or good second-hand fan shaft gear. There we have the sliding bushing and thrust bearing that runs on the shaft in here. Which the weights work on this face. These weights push on this face, which in turn this sits here like so, and that works on the governor lever and effectively works then the throttle, this little flappy paddly bit. And there's the gear there's the gear that drives it all. That gear works off the top of the camshaft gear. And so yeah, so that's what we've been doing. The reason the cylinder head's not got put back on is because when I had the cylinder head, had a valve job done on the cylinder head, we had it pressure tested and we discovered that these pushrod tubes were leaking. As you can see, they're quite pitted on these tubes. They're steel tubes, quite pitted, and they have little pinpricks in them. I think this one's not so bad. The worst one is, I'm not too sure how the other one is, but there's another one somewhere which is a lot worse. And so I made some new tubes. You can still buy these in America. So you guys over in America, you should be able to still get the originals. And I could have probably got some shipped over, but I just thought, well, I enjoy doing my lathe work, so I made two out of some quality copper bar, and I made two new ones. They're an interference fit, so you've got to get these ends correct, and you just push them into the cylinder head. I made a proper tool for doing it. You just push them in with a threaded bar and a chappy that goes at the end here of the tube. I have a feeling, there it is. That's my tool for putting them in with. So you slide that up the tube and it just nicely, with obviously a threaded rod here, and it just pulls them into the cylinder head. Put a bit of Loctite on just to be doubly sure, but I decided it would have been a bit silly not to have them checked, and so I sent the cylinder head back to my good mate down in the local town here to have it pressure tested. Well, you know what my luck is with machine shops, if you remember the pedestal problems. Well, I sent it down about 10 days ago and I still haven't seen the thing back. So I rang him today being a Friday, I think it's the 15th today of December, and he promised to have it done for me today and he'll ring me tonight. Well, he never has, so I shall ring him again beginning of next week. So I've decided that going back to the governor, all these components, we'll have this shaft built up with the cogs. Well, not that cog because that's a bevel gear that goes on the end of the fan shaft. But with these components here, the drive gear and that, and we'll build them up onto the shaft and get this shaft built up. As you can see, I've got new bearings, which a copy of the new departure bearing that we find in the fan shaft and in the governor. So they're like a ball bearing, thrust bearing sort of thing. Once over, when I first started rebuilding these old tractors, you had a job finding these bearings. And the first ones you used to get were horrible. They weren't very well made. And this inner race, this bit here where the balls sit, was made out of plastic. But these are quite a good reproduction of the originals. I'm guessing they'll be made in China. I'm sure they are made in China. But I got them through from Steiner. Steiner over in the US. There's one of their old catalogues there. Yeah, they have them on their in their catalogue. So there you go, guys. If you're after decent, new, and pretty well priced, to be fair, copies of the new departure bearing, Steiner are the place to go. I don't like advertising people, but I do find Steiner are quite good for some parts. Yeah, so that's what they are. My local bearing supplier, he tried to get them for me, and he was getting them from near enough the same source as Steiner, I suspect, and just loading the price up so I could import them cheaper than he could get them. So that's where we are with that, really. The next job, once we get that cylinder head put on, get these rockers all cleaned up, valves and rocker arms. What am I saying? Not valves, rocker arm and push rod control cleaned up. So that'll be next to go on top of the cylinder head. So they're good. There's the valves that are out of the cylinder head, ready to go back in when I get it back. So yeah, so that's that. As I say, it's really just a bit of an update. I had the radiator pressure tested. Well, sort of pressure tested. We had a bit of a problem, but 99% reason to be happy that it is still watertight. So I'm going to take the chance on it. So that requires, I'll mask the actual core off, and then I'll just shot blast the cast frame and then get that painted. Now there's some fan shaft components, the fan, the tubing there, I think there's a shaft somewhere. There's the shaft. So yeah, so I'll talk about that when we're putting it back together. I'm not videoing me cleaning this stuff up. It's just boring, really. I find it boring. So it's just as easy for me just to get on and do it, and then you can see them cleaned up. Yeah, you can see I've done a little bit of spray painting on the tractor. The bearing housing here and that are all painted up. That quill down there is done. So they're done. A little bit done on the other side that I wanted painting. So yeah. As I said in the last video I was on with, I think it was the one I did about the carburettor. It was a matter of getting some parts cleaned up, ready to rock and roll with, really. I seem to have run out of parts to put back on that were relatively cleaned and ready to go, so that's what I'm doing. But no, I think the next job I'm going to get the governor put back together. There's the actual governor case, all done. It was prepped a while back, so it's ready to go. Yeah. So yeah, that's it. Really, just a catch up, and hopefully soon see some more components bolted back onto the chassis. Okay then, thank you, bye.